Well, as the word says in the book of James, James chapter 1 and verse 1. James chapter 1 and verse 1. James, a servant of Yah and of the Master, Yahushua Messiah, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. Also, greeting to those that are not of the 12 tribes by blood, but have been grafted in by faith in the Hebrew Messiah, to the nation, the scattered nation, as James mentioned, of the Israelite kingdom. Greetings. Greetings to those that are not of any religion. We're going to talk a little bit about religion today. So, greetings to those that are not of any religion, but are tired of the corruption, unrighteousness, death, disease, pain, and suffering that are on planet Earth and want to see an end to it. Greetings. Greetings and blessings. Blessings on those that work in the healthcare field trying to save lives in the midst of all of this corruption, politicalizing of disease and death. Those that are just working to help people, comfort people, and try to save lives in the healthcare field. Greetings. Greetings to those that pick up garbage and keep places clean and that make deliveries of goods and services that we need. Double blessings on those that are out here trying to save men and women, little boys, little girls, and babies and teenagers from the clutches of sadistic, perverted, and greedy sex slave operators and people that are in the sex slave industry and people that kidnap these people that drug them, people that induce them to sell their bodies or be raped. And curses, double curses on those that exploit these situations and that support such a disgusting industry. Finally, blessings on those working for the homeless, people that are sleeping in benches, in parks, on grates, in alleys, in tents, because they don't have a roof over their head. They don't have the basic necessities of shelter. Blessings upon those working to help the 500 plus thousand of those individuals, including veterans, men, women, and children, and veterans on the streets of America, north of the United States of America, not including all of Canada, Mexico, Central and South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia, Southeast Asia, in the same situation. Millions of people without the basic necessities of a roof over their head. And may the Most High soon, very soon, bring a swift end to these situations so that it doesn't exist anymore. Greetings to those in the chat. Righteous is the way. Antonio Garrett, my brother, Walter. Greetings to y'all. Well, interesting things have taken place with regard to this COVID vaccine that I would like to discuss today. As a matter of fact, today, as I mentioned, is Wednesday, March the 24th, 2021. And it was about, I would say, it was about a year ago that the Most High impressed me to start doing these little talks on Wednesday night because of the COVID situation that had come up and because of all that was the ramifications of that, both in terms of what's going on in the earth and the world, and then what means in terms of Bible prophecy. It's been a year. Okay. And things, I don't know how long Most High is going to have me keep doing this, but as long as he does, obviously I will. And this is aside from the Bible studies that we have been doing for years and years on Friday night and on Sabbath morning and Sabbath afternoon, which we continue to do by the grace of the Most High. And we're now studying the book of Revelation. It was about Monday. Yes, it was Monday. Today's Wednesday. It was Monday. Sunday night, I went to sleep. Monday morning, I woke up. Oftentimes, I don't know about you all, but a lot of the dreams I get, it'll be like in the morning. Like when I wake up and fall back to sleep, a dream will come. And this happened this Monday morning. In this dream, this past Monday, I had woke up in the morning and I just fell back to sleep. And in this dream, somebody called on the phone, and I picked up the phone in the dream. It was a cell phone. I picked up my cell phone, and all I can hear on the other end of the line was a sound that somebody make. You ever see like when somebody really is crying real hard and they're finished crying, but they like that? You ever see that they go like that because they've been crying so much, it's almost like they have a hiccup. Well, when I on in the dream on the phone, that's what I heard. Like they were just crying, like something bad had happened. And I woke up and I was scared because in the dream I had a feeling of dread, like something bad had happened. And my first thought was for my wife and my children. And I couldn't even get up off my knees fast enough. I was in the bed just praying, Most High, please protect my wife and my children. I named my wife and my children because the dream meant it was a dream that I knew meant something. Well, yesterday, it was my wife had come home from work. I told my wife about the dream Monday morning before she went to work. And then yesterday she came home. It was about 6:30. And I was just like I am right here. I was on the computer, but I was doing some work. And she said, your dream came to pass. And I said, what dream? And she repeated the dream that I just told you. And I said, how you know it came to pass? She said, I called, and she called my oldest daughter. And she said when the phone was answered, all she heard was like that. And she got scared. And she called and said, what's wrong? What's going on? What's wrong? And when my daughter caught her breath, she told my wife that a good friend of hers that she worked with dropped dead of a heart attack at age 33 yesterday. And she was upset because it was so sudden. Obviously, it was a good friend of hers, somebody she had worked with. And she was beside herself with grief. And the boy was only 33 years old, young man. Well, today, my wife came home again with more news. Apparently, my daughter got more information about the death of her friend at age 33 on Tuesday. And there's another, I mentioned to y'all, it was like a week ago this past Monday, my aunt, who was going to be, she would have been 91 in April, she died, and they said she died of COVID. Okay, they said she died of COVID. They put her in the hospital because she tested positive, and they put COVID on the birth certificate. But my cousin was there, and he said she did not have COVID. So with that in my mind, my wife coming home today, and she told me that the young man that dropped dead of a heart attack, he had went to the hospital a couple of days before because he thought he had some trouble breathing and wanted to see if it was COVID. And they gave him morphine, and they gave him another drug. And then 2 days later, he dropped dead of a heart attack. And then I have an uncle who's also like 90 years old, and he had Alzheimer's. And another cousin brought him to the hospital, and they gave him morphine today, and they gave him the same drug. And we kind of know what's going to happen next, right? And so I'm realizing that this is a game. This game that they're playing is to kill people, to kill old people, and especially to kill Black and brown people. Okay, that's the game. That's what's going on right now. Okay, and how it is set up is by a mass brainwashing. Hear me out. You and I are being constantly told, when you're sick, go to the doctor, go to the hospital, right? Now, because of the cost of the hospital, right? You walk into a hospital, like my wife cut her wrist last summer. She cut her wrist on a piece of glass, and she cut really very near a major artery. And I rushed her to the hospital. When you walk in there, it's $5,000, something like that. It's that's how it is when you walk in there. Now, fortunately, I had some insurance that covered a lot of it, but they brought it in there. They sold it up and all that. And it's still, we had to, after all of the insurance coverage, we still had to pay like $3,000, and she was only there for a couple of hours. Okay, because that's so people avoid it because of the cost, right? But with this COVID, people are rushing to the hospital because they're scared. Because the media tells you, go to the hospital, go get your shot, right? But and I told a brother this, me and this, one of my brothers was talking about this a few months ago. And I told him, I'm not scared of the shot. I'm not scared of the shot. You know why I'm not scared of the shot? Because I'm not scared of death. And I'm not scared of death, not because I'm a brave person. It's not that at all. It's because I trust the Most High. I put my complete trust in the Father. And if I die today, I just die. That's how I feel about it. Sometimes my wife gets scared because I'm so not scared of death. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. And I also believe what the scripture says in the Gospel of Mark. Gospel of Mark, chapter 16, verse 17 and 18. It says, and these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name they shall cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. And if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. I believe that word. Okay. But at the same time, Messiah taught us to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, and do not tempt the Most High by putting yourself in danger. Don't purposely go to the valley of the shadow of death if you don't need to. You understand? If you are made to, that's one thing. If you are forced to, that's one thing. But don't voluntarily, if you don't have to, walk in the valley of the shadow of death. I don't trust hospitals. I never have. I don't trust doctors either. I never have. Okay. And the reason that is because it's just part of my family. Again, that's nothing, that's just me, because my grandmother on my father's side never trusted doctors or hospitals. She had little, and some of y'all would understand what I'm talking about. She had little roots and home remedies for everything. And when I grew up, my father was like that. He had little home remedies for everything. He would make up stuff sometimes. And that passed on to me. So I never trusted doctors. I never trusted hospitals. If I break a bone, like I got in a couple motorcycle accidents last year, yeah, I go to the hospital. Well, at least one of them I went to the hospital. One of them I refused to go to the hospital. But the second one, I was in pretty bad shape, so they sent me to the hospital. But even then, they were talking about cutting me open and talking about cutting open because my kidney, blah, blah, blah. And we was getting ready to get into it. They said, okay, we don't need to do that. I was like, yeah, okay. Because, I don't trust them. But this COVID thing, brethren, they trying to kill us, man. I mean, this is simple as that. Now, I told my brother, we and him were discussing this, and I said, if my job kind of makes me do it, like if it's between like getting the shots and working, I'll get the shots because now I'm being forced to get it to work, right? But if not, I'm not going to take it. That's how I'm feeling about it. And if I have to take it, understanding what's going on, if they make me, I believe the Most High protect me. That's how it is. But we have to understand what's happening. This is a situation where they're purposely trying to kill us. Now, what is the motive? Well, the elderly is an obvious motive to kill the elderly. If you're elderly, or if you're anybody, and you're getting Social Security. Now you paid into the system, right? In order to get that payment. But once you die, that payment stops. So like if you started taking it at age 65 and then you died at 66, that payment stops. Right? So you kill elderly people that are getting Social Security, that payment stops. And we already know the government uses Social Security for everything but what it's supposed to be used for. Right? It ain't like there's not enough money coming in, but they blowing it on whatever they blowing it on. Okay? Both Democrat, Republican, and anybody else. It's government. Y'all got to understand something too. Don't get caught up in liberal and conservative. Don't get brainwashed. Don't get brainwashed. There's only one party. It's the corporate party. And everybody works for it. That's in politics. They all work for the corporate party. Okay? They just come at it from different angles to confuse people, but they work for the corporate party. All of them do. All right. So they're trying to kill us, though. The elderly to take that money. And then if the elderly have, like, let's say they have money to leave for their kids. Well, what's more likely to happen to that money if you leave it to somebody younger, right? They're going to spend it. And this whole economy is built on debt and spending. It's not built for you to save money. It's built for you to spend money, even money you don't have. Okay? That's what it's built for. So it's diabolical. And then, of course, the brown people, they've been trying to kill us. You know, that's just Bible. I mean, look at what the scriptures say. See, the Bible shows us the whole thing. The Most High told us that there's in several places that there's similarities between our deliverance and what happened in Egypt. So if you want to know why and what's going on now, look at the beginning. Look at Genesis, look at Exodus, look at what's going on in these places, and you can see, and I'll give you an example. Notice Exodus chapter 1. It shows us exactly what's going on now, because we know who the true Israelites are, right? So it shows us exactly what's happening. When you look at Exodus chapter 1, you see it. Okay, watch. Exodus chapter 1. I'm in the beginning, Exodus 1, they're going over the 12 tribes, right? And they're talking about Joseph, and then Joseph died, and then there was a Pharaoh that knew not Joseph. Okay, so let's start there. Exodus chapter 1, verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Okay. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and get them up out of the land. In other words, they'll be free, and we won't profit off them anymore. Listen now, they'll be free, and we won't profit off them anymore. Okay, so we can't let that happen. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Raamses. The Israelites built these cities. See them pyramids out there? Israelites built them pyramids. Okay? All right. So how do we equate that to now? Israelites built the White House. Let me say that again. Israelites, enslaved Israelites built the White House. Okay. And all them buildings in Washington, D.C., you ever see them? Israelites built them. Okay. Not only that, Israelites built the economy based on cotton and tobacco and the rail system. Enslaved Israelites, mostly in chains on chain gangs, built the economy that you now have, that started with the seed of almost 300 years of free labor in fields with tons and tons and tons and tons of cotton and sugarcane and tobacco and chocolate and the rail system. Just like here. It gets better. Verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. The more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. Recent history. Let's just talk about recent history. So there were 22 million Hebrews in America in 1963. They sent us to Vietnam. They flooded our neighborhoods with heroin. They had police killing us in our neighborhoods, killing us. In the South, they were lynching us, killing us. Then, in the 1970s, they added to the heroin and the weed. And in the late 70s, and they had Quaaludes and they had crack in the 80s. Then they privatized the prisons so that they can arrest us for smoking the weed, using the heroin and the crack, and give us life imprisonment and get paid for it from you tax dollars. Intending to take the man out of the household and enslave the rest of the children, no house, no father, and kill as many males as possible. In fact, have them kill each other, supply them with guns in the crack trade. Yet still, here we are, more than 46 million. After all that, that doesn't include the sterilization of Black men and women. That doesn't include that. That doesn't include the Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood to get us to kill as many of our babies as they can. That doesn't include places like Detroit, where the water's poison, and other places that they haven't even told you about yet. And yet we've doubled. So the more they afflicted us, the more we have grown. And they were grieved. They were grieved. Okay? Which is why there's such hatred for Black. We talked about race last week, remember? And I told you, this all started when Caucasian scientists created a thing called race. And they did this to express their, as Caucasians, superiority to all other races that they created. Which is why if you have a Black person, a person of color, brown or dark skin, that mixes with any other race that's not Black, the person, the children that comes out of that relationship, they're asking them, what are you? Why do they keep asking you, what are you? Are you Black? Why? Because as soon as, see, this is a war, brethren. It's part of the overall spiritual war that's going on. The war was started when the object of race was created, because now the people that have to be superior must prove themselves continually superior, and then they must also keep down anything that would threaten that superiority. Especially those that they already are aware that they have kidnapped and raped and pillaged and tried to kill and destroy. They're very much scared of that uprising, very much scared of that. And they must keep it down. And no matter what it is, it's Republican and Democrat both do the same thing. The Republicans, they inherited. It's interesting because today's Republicans were yesterday's Democrats. It was Democrats where the Ku Klux Klan came from. Abraham Lincoln was Republican. But now it's switched in the 20th century because the Democrats saw an opportunity to exploit Black people with their votes. And then the white people that were Democrats switched to Republican. This started in the 1960s. And they just switched places. So now the Republicans are the redneck ones that mostly hate people of color. And the Democrats are the elitists. They're elitists. That's what they mean. What do I mean by that? They feel like they're above you too. And if they reach out to help you, you should be their friend. Even if their help is garbage. So that on MSNBC, you got a lot of elitist liberal people that think they're better than you. And then they try to promote you as being all black men must be homosexual because that's all they put on their television. That's all they put on there. Black men that's homosexuals or sellouts. And then, of course, the Republican side on Fox News, everything's conservative. So, you got that. But both sides are working to destroy the Hebrews. Subdue and destroy them. The only thing that's stopping them is the Most High, but really also what's stopping them is their own greed, because above all things is greed, brethren. Greed has no color. People that are greedy, and the people that are greedy never have enough. Brethren, let me tell you the truth about it. If it wasn't that the Most High, as we saw in the book of Revelation, telling the four angels to hold back the winds until his servants are sealed, these people, these heathen, greedy people would have destroyed each other off the earth a long time ago. Asatan's a murderer. Did not Messiah, wait, let me finish Exodus here. They were grieved because of the children of Israel. Right, verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor and made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and brick and all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. Watch this. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah, and he said, when you do the service office of midwife to the Hebrew women, see them upon the stools. If it be a son, then ye shall kill him. If it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared Yah and did not as the king of Egypt commanded, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing, and ye saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore Yah dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared Yah, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river. Every daughter ye shall save alive. So there was a special hatred toward the males of the Hebrews. He had all his people on notice, kill the black males, kill them, destroy them, malign them. You can save the women, kill the males. Does that sound familiar to you? Do you now understand what's happening in this society right now? Kill the black males. Save the women. Kill the males. Okay? As it was in the beginning, so shall it be at the end. But look, Gospel of John, chapter 8. Gospel of John, chapter 8. Notice what it says, Gospel of John, chapter 8. Verse 4, let's get right to it, verse 44. Messiah talking to the Hebrew religious leaders. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Let's look at this for a second. Think of a murderer. Now, the way this is described, he's a serial killer. A serial killer is a person that kills continually. They're always planning the next murder, looking for the next victim. Isn't that what Peter said? He's as a roaring lion seeking who he may devour. Look, if it wasn't that the Most High is going to deliver us, the devil would have killed everyone on the planet already and been left here with just his angels. Long time ago. He gets off on murder, just like a serial killer. Serial killers get off on murder. There are some serial killers that actually get sexually aroused at the thought of committing the type of murders, whatever one they're into. And I used to teach my kids, my daughters especially, don't ever beg for your life if somebody like that snatches you. You fight them until they kill you. Because the more you beg for your life, they get off on that. They enjoy that. They want to hear you scream and beg. That's the devil. So it's the Most High that really is controlling everything, although the devil is, he is a murderer and a liar. So this COVID thing, man, they really trying to kill us. They really are. They really trying to kill us, man. But as we have talked about, this is not the first time they've done this. Overall, we understand the Most High is in control. They've been trying to do this. The more they tried to kill us in Egypt, the more we grew. This ain't gonna work either. But we have to understand something. You can't trust them. Don't ever trust them. It's the same way we talk about churches and Christianity. Do not trust these people. Only trust your Father and His Word. That's what you got to trust. Your Father and His Word. Do not trust these people. They all have an agenda that's something aside from your best interest. Something beside your best interest. And it starts with you reaching in your pocket, doesn't it? I had the thought today, honestly, and you tell me if y'all could tell me when you get the comments if you've noticed this. Better is a person that's sincere and decent, that is not part of a religion, than a religionist. Religionists have an agenda. A person that's not a religionist, but is just sincere and honest and trying to do the right thing, has no agenda. But in this brainwashed system in which we are, all the religionists have an agenda. In other words, you're supposed to join their religion and give them your money. And then give them this here. Brethren, let me show you something. Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7. Of all of the issues that came out of the Sermon on the Mount, I hear the less about this one than anyone else. The most one I hear about is turn the other cheek. Pray for your enemies. You know why they preach that from these pulpits? Because they want you to be weak. They want you to not be a threat. I was just watching today. I told y'all know I'm big into Malcolm X. You know I'm big into that boy. So one of the interviews, there was matter of fact, the dude's son is now on Fox News, but there was a dude named Mike Wallace, Ashkenazi dude, back in the day. He's dead now. And his son is now on Fox News. But anyway, Mike Wallace is interviewing Malcolm X, right? It was just a few weeks before Malcolm X was murdered. Okay, maybe like 2 weeks before his death. This man is interviewing Malcolm X. And most of his questions are centered on this thing. Are you still condoning violence? Did you hear about this group in Harlem that used to be with Elijah Muhammad? Then they followed you, then they broke off from you, and they're talking about violence. Are you still condoning that Black people have weapons and be violent? All of his questions revolved around that. And I was surprised that Malcolm could be so calm. You know why I was surprised he could be so calm? Because even at that point, we had suffered almost 400 years of lynching, burnings, beatings at the hands of his people. And he's going to ask Malcolm X whether he is going to be violent. Brethren, that's how it is, though. And so that's why they always talking about turn the other cheek. Because really, and as I told y'all, turn the other cheek in the gospel has nothing to do with what Christians teach. Let me make this plain for you. Go back and look at the prophecies of Jeremiah. Go back and look at Jeremiah. Why do I say that? Because Jeremiah is telling you what Messiah was telling you. Wait a minute. You say, what are you talking about, brother? Let me find it for you. But look at the prophecy of Jeremiah, and then you'll understand. What do I mean? Well, what I'm saying to you here is Jeremiah 27. I'm not going to read it now, but go ahead and read Jeremiah 27 because I got other things to talk to you about. But read Jeremiah 27. And the reason I say that is because of the disobedience of the children of Israel. Father had been warning them, sending his prophets to warn them about them worshiping other gods, about them following the heathen, about them leaving his law. He had been warning them for decades, many decades, even centuries. And finally, he said through his prophet Jeremiah, I'm going to bring the Babylonians here. They're going to take over this whole country. They're going to take Jerusalem. And y'all better surrender to them. Because if you don't surrender to them, I'm going to let them kill you. That's basically what he was saying. Read Jeremiah. And I'm telling you who I'm sending. I'm sending the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. He's my servant. I'm going to have him come in here. He's going to destroy this place. He's going to destroy the temple, the city, everything. Surrender to him. Don't fight him. Surrender to him. Because I've sent him. Okay. Why? Because of the disobedience of the children of Israel. And then he promised the Israelites, when you get to Babylon, you return to me. I'll return to you and bring you back to your land. Well, so let's move it forward to Messiah's time. Messiah is in Israel. He's in the southern kingdom of Judah. What's going on in the southern kingdom of Judah? Roman soldiers are controlling the whole country now. They got Roman tax collectors. They got a Roman pontiff, which means basically the procurator is basically the governor working for Caesar. Why? Because of the disobedience of the children of Israel. Because of their disobedience, because now they switched from serving other gods to creating their own system. Scribes, Pharisees, Sadducees, creating their own system. And had the people under their control while they working with the Romans. They had to deal with the Romans, and they were getting their money from the people, and they were conning the people. Because of that, Messiah said, listen, brethren, don't fight each other. Wait, don't fight each other. Love one another. You brothers. Love each other. Don't sue each other. And don't fight with these people. Don't fight with these people. And at the end, isn't that what caused the city to be destroyed in AD 70? Messiah told us, leave Jerusalem. He said, because there's going to be wrath on this people until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. He said, the Gentiles are going to come and destroy this place, just like Jeremiah said. Until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. No way was he saying, go and let yourself get pulled out of your house and lynched. Let your little girls, your little boys get raped. He wasn't saying that. As a matter of fact, what did he say to Pilate? He said to Pilate, if my kingdom was of this world, my servants would do what? He said, my servants would fight. It would not allow me to be taken by the Jews. He said, but that's why he that brought me to you has the greatest sin. In other words, my own brothers brought me to you. My own brothers, my own countrymen turned me over to you. That's what he was talking about. He wasn't talking about letting people just walk all over you with dogs and guns and stuff. That's not what he's talking about. Now, and again, he said, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. If you see Messiah, sometimes they would come after him, the Jew would come after him to beat him up, and he would run away. He would the Bible said he'd get past through them and get away. One time they were going to throw him off a cliff from his own hometown. He ran away. Because it wasn't his time, because he was there for a purpose. But you remember what he told them? He said, oh, remember when I sent you out without a purse or a script? He said, did you lack anything? They said, no. He said, now you got a purse, better get one. He said, you got a sword, you better get one. Why would he say that then? He said, because now it was his own people turning him over. He didn't want you to live by the sword. He said, he that lives by the sword will die by the sword. That's not your first answer. But he's trying to say, protect yourself. Protect yourself. But see, Christianity teach you, oh no, just let people walk all over you, just lay down, just go ahead, let them come in Emmett Till's house, snatch that little boy out, and then beat him to death, castrate that 14-year-old boy, and throw him in the river. Let that happen because you're supposed to turn the other cheek. See, there's a difference. But see, that's what Christianity, that's the brainwashing. And speaking of the brainwashing, that's what's part of this whole problem right now. We are all been brainwashed by Christianity, churchianity, been brainwashed by the media, been brainwashed to trust in people that you're not supposed to trust in. You're supposed to trust doctors. Okay, listen, like I said, if I got a broken bone, I want somebody that know what they're doing to set the bone, right? But don't trust in people that the symbol is a snake with a stick on it. That's the symbol for the medicine. It's a snake with a stick on it. The snake is on a stick. Don't look to them first. Look to your Father. Ask him for wisdom. Ask him to guide you. Matthew chapter 7. Notice what it says here. Verse 13. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, as broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. What does that tell you? Does that sound like the majority of people are going to be saved? He's talking about religious people here. Does that tell you that the majority of religious people are going into the kingdom? Let me read it again. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way that leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. And just in case you didn't get that, notice this next verse. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Sheep's clothing and ravening wolves. What does that sound like to you? We have read it. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11. Revelation 13:11. What does it say? And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Let's go back and read Matthew again. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. The gate is narrow. So if the majority are going one way along religious lines, guess what? It's the wrong way. It's the wrong way. Okay? If the majority are herded toward, and they're even calling it. You ever heard this term? Herd immunity? Have you heard that? Herd immunity. Brethren, you know what it is, man. We are here. This is not something like, and years ago we could say this is coming. Nah, man, it's here, brethren. It's here today. We're in the middle of it. We're in the eye of the storm. See, when you're in the eye of the storm, you ever been in the eye of a hurricane? You be in the eye of the storm, right? And it's calm in the eye of the storm. But when that storm moves, you're going to feel it, even though see, right now we're in the eye of the storm. We'll really realize what's around us. Storm is here. Okay? It's here. It's already started. And what is the answer that we have? Brethren, again, it's very simple, man. Trust in this book and your Father alone. You hear what I'm saying? Trust in the Word and the Father alone. That's your only protection, man. I felt so blessed. I was scared when I woke up Monday morning, man. I said, man, let me pray for my children, man. And then later that day, my wife come in and tell me exactly what happened. Now, wow, of course, I was upset. I was not happy, of course, to hear about 33-year-old boy that dropped dead of a heart. 33 years old. But let me tell you something. I was glad my father warned me beforehand. You see, right? I was glad he warned me beforehand. And let me tell you something, I'm no different than you. If you trust in your Father and his word, he's going to warn you. He's never going to let anything come to you that wasn't supposed to happen. He's not going to let anything overtake you that wasn't supposed to come. But you putting your trust in Pastor so-and-so and Reverend so-and-so, Bishop so-and-so, you sending your money, your hard-earned money to these places. You putting your trust in the TV and Fox News and Wallace and Hannity and MSNBC and the Rachel Gay Maddow and all of them, you are going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem. In fact, you're going to have a lot of problems. Now, speaking of problems, let's keep reading. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing. Matthew 7:15, if you didn't know where we were. But inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire, whereby by their fruit ye shall know. What the fruit mean? Brethren, first thing you know when you read Galatians, you talk about fruits, right? What does Galatians say? The fruits of what? The Spirit. It said the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, meekness, faith. Against such is no law. The fruits of the Spirit. What does that mean? When listen. When you are guided by your Father's Spirit, why would you be guided by your Father's Spirit? Because you asked him to guide you. You asked him, guide me by your Spirit of righteousness, Father. In the name of Messiah, I ask you, guide me and lead me by your Spirit of perfect righteousness, Father. And he will do it. Espíritu de justicia, Spirit of righteousness. He will lead you in his Spirit. Now, when you have asked him to do that, the reason you are asking him to do that, because you recognize, like I recognize, I'm too stupid to guide myself. I need an eternal God. In this spiritual war, I need an eternal Father that is Alpha and Omega to guide me in the way I should go. Okay? And when I know he's guiding me, listen, if another spirit is approaching me, I will know. If somebody's supposed to be preaching or teaching and that's another spirit, I will feel something kind of way. You got to trust the Father. Okay? You got to trust the Father and his word. And now I say, read the word. Like I said, man, we coming up on April 1st, like pretty soon. Like in 7 days, 8 days. I'm going to start reading from that day, going forward by the grace of the Most High, looking for the 19th reading of this book right here. Okay? I admonish you, commit to reading the word. Commit to reading the word. Read it all. Eat it all up. Father will bless you. And ask for his spirit, his spirit of perfect righteousness. As for Yah, the Bible says, his way is perfect. The way the Most High is tried. He's a buckler to all them that put their trust in him. Put your trust in him. In the name of Messiah. Messiah said, I go to my God and your God, my Father and your Father. That's what he told Miriam to go tell the disciples. Okay? Through the Messiah's name, trust your Father. Trust his spirit and his word, especially now. Look at what's going on, man. They're trying to kill us. They're trying to kill us. But Father is going to overcome. He will prevail. He always does. And he's going to do it this time too. He's going to overcome. And if you with him, you overcome with him. But let's keep reading. Watch this. Verse 21. Not everyone that said unto me, Master, Master, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven. He that doeth the will of my Father. There are people that don't even really know the Father. Yet and not because they don't want to, they just don't know him, never had opportunity to. But if they perform the works of the Father, he's going to bless them. See, that's why I say there are people that are not even involved with religion, but are sincere in wanting to do what's right, wanting to help. The Most High blesses these type of people, man. You understand? Versus religionists that want you in their church, want you reaching in your pocket to give them money. They even got ATMs in church buildings now. They used to take checks. They're not taking checks no more. They want the loot, man. Oh, shoot. They got cash apps and everything. Man, I'm trying to tell y'all, this ain't your granddaddy's church no more. It's time to wake up, y'all. This is serious. It's time to wake up. We are not, like I said, it's not coming. It's here. It's here. We right up the road from the 7 last plagues. We right up the road from the 7 last plagues. Okay, and the sealing of the 144,000 of those will be right up just a couple years away. It's coming, man. Okay, but all the events leading up to it are right here now. Okay, it's time. It's time for us to really put our trust in the faith of righteousness, right? It's called the faith of Jesus, faith of Messiah, which is the righteousness of the Father. It's time, man. It's time for that. It's the only thing that's going to save us. It's the only thing that's going to deliver us. The Father delivers us when we can't deliver ourselves. He does. He shows himself faithful. But we can't be trusting in all these other stuff, the TV, the hospitals, the doctors, the COVID medicines, the pastors and all this, the reverends, the bishops, the pope. You can't trust these people. You can't trust CNN. They're always lying to you. That's the thing about liars. It's never exactly what they say. Right? It might be close to what they say, but it's never exactly what they say. Let's keep reading. Many will say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in thy name? Religious people. And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. Then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. That is say again, wide is the gate, right? So that's the majority of religious people. That's the majority of religious people. Okay? Remember, brethren, the truth is not about a religion. It's about a nation. We are not a denomination. We are part of a scattered nation. And when we come together, it's going to be because of the spirit of the Father's righteousness that brings us together. Okay? We are part of a scattered nation. Scattered into the 4 corners of the earth. The 12 tribes scattered abroad. That's what we are. The Israel of the Most High. That's what the Bible calls it. That's what he calls it. Why did he say Israel of Yah? Why did he say that? Because not all bloodline is acting like they're supposed to be acting right. That's what he listen, in Matthew 7, he's talking to the bloodline. You know that? He's not talking to Gentiles. In Matthew chapter 7. He's not. All of the Messiah's statements were to Israelites. Messiah didn't talk to no Gentiles. In fact, that one woman that came at him, asking for help for her daughter, he said, I can't take the children's meat and give it to dogs. I came not but for the house of Israel. And she said, truth, Lord, truth. She said, yet even dogs get the crumbs from the table. And he said, okay, bless you. Brethren, religions are going to get you destroyed. Your salvation is not in religion. It's in your Father and his Messiah. It's not in a church. You would not be part of a church. When you get baptized into Messiah. Messiah is the rock that's the foundation of the nation. I didn't mean to rhyme. But it is the truth, though. Messiah is the foundation of the nation. Okay? Messiah is the foundation of the nation. This ain't got nothing to do with a denomination, a Mormon, a Baptist, a Pentecostal, a SDA, a Catholic. It ain't got nothing to do with a Muslim, whether you a Sunni Muslim, whether you a whatever, whether you a Shiite Muslim. That don't matter. None of that matters. Can't save you. Wearing all kind of long beards ain't gonna save you. That always killed me, man. Where's your beard, brother? It's like the Muslim. Yeah, bean pie can't save you. A bow tie, a bean pie can't save you. There is a deliverer, though. It's the Messiah of the nation of Israel, of the house of Judah, of the seed of David. That's the deliverer that Father sent. Praise Yah. Okay, praise Yah. Trust him, trust his word. That's all. Forget all this other stuff, man. Don't trust. Listen, when you see something on the TV, first thing you need to understand is they're lying to you. The first thing you need to know is you are being lied to. Okay. And then the second thing you need to understand, they're trying to distract you. And then once you have that understanding that you're being lied to and they're trying to distract you, now you can see behind it. Okay, what's the truth? Think of what's the motive? What are they trying to get from me? What they trying to do? Never trust the media, ever. Okay. Now, Donald Trump is a demonic liar, but that brother was right when he said fake news. I ain't gonna front. Donald Trump is a selfish, demonic devil. But he was right when he said it's fake news, man. Because that's all you getting is fake news. You understand? It's the truth, it's the truth anyhow. If a devil says it, or if an angel says it, if it's true, it's true. All right. And yeah, he was right. It's fake news out here. Okay. Now watch this last part. Okay, this last part right here. Verse 24, Matthew 7:24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house. And it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. Obviously, the rock is Messiah, the foundation of the nation. Okay? Everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. Now, wait, I always tell people, recognize something in these words from our Messiah. Recognize something. Both the house that was built on the rock and the house that was built on sand had something in common. Did you realize what they have in common? The house that was built on the rock and the house that was built on the sand had a very important point in common. What was the commonality? The storm hit them both. Did you see that? The storms came on the house built on the rock, and the storms came on the house built on the sand. The storms hit both of them. And the difference between them was made manifest when the storms hit them. Because when the storms hit them, one stood and the other fell. That's us. When we trusted in our Father through Messiah, who is the foundation of the nation, when we're trusting in his righteousness and his word alone, we will stand. It's going to be rough. The storm's coming. It's here. But it's coming to everybody. And that's why the Bible said they have no rest, day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. They have no rest. Listen, brethren, the storm's coming to everybody. Everybody getting hit. Nobody's going to be exempt. The only difference is some of us going to trust in man and some of us going to trust in the Father and Yah. Some of us going to trust in man's words and some of us going to trust in Yah's word. It's very simple, man. It's so simple that people don't believe it. It's very simple. Trust in the word of Yah. Trust in his word. If they try to inject your arm with that poison and they making you take it, don't worry. Trust your father. But if they ain't making you take it, don't take it. That's very simple, isn't it? Huh? Do you know there's a book, and I don't promote many books. I don't have it around. It's downstairs. It's a book called Fox's Book of Martyrs. Fox's Book of Martyrs is a book that details, chronicles the martyrs going back from the apostles into the dark ages. A guy named Fox wrote the history of how these people died, how the 12 apostles died, how a lot of these reformers died during the dark ages, and these Protestants died, being burned at the stake and all that. He chronicled and made a book called Fox's Book of Martyrs. And in that book, he talks about John. They made John drink a cup of poison to kill him. They made him drink it. He drank it. And nothing happened to him. It was then they took him and they threw him in a giant pot of boiling oil to kill him. And nothing happened to him. That's why he ended up on the island of Patmos. They tried to kill him twice and they were scared, so they put him on the island. And if you read Revelation, what he said, I'm on the island for the testimony of Yahushua, the word of the Most High. See, they thought they were banishing him, but the Most High had it in his control. See, so that was what I'm saying. So that if the Most High is with you, you trust in him, don't worry about these poisons that they're trying to kill us with. They're trying to kill us. There's no question. Okay, they're trying to kill us. But Father has us. And it's getting real here, brethren. It's getting real now. It's getting real. Okay, it's getting real now. Okay, they starting with this here. It's going to get worse. And their greed is going to cause their destruction. If you recall what we just read tonight, the Egyptians were enslaving the Hebrew and profiting off them, and they were concerned that if there was a war, the Hebrews would fight for the enemies and break free of their chains. That hasn't changed. It has not changed. It's still the same right now. Okay? And if you read further, by the time them 10 plagues finished with Egypt, their economy was ruined. Their economy was shambles. It got to the point where the leaders of the Egyptian states came to the Pharaoh and said, don't you realize, let these people go. Don't you realize we'd be all dead men? It had ruined their barley crops, ruined their wheat crops, killed their animals, destroyed their economy. Brethren, that's coming again. That's why you read Revelation chapter 18, weeping and wailing and casting dust in the air, because nobody was buying their stuff. Why? When the Most High finishes with this earth, with the plague, he getting ready the 7 last ones he getting ready to let off on this place. There ain't gonna be no cure. Ain't gonna be no medicines. Ain't gonna be nothing. When he destroys the crops and the water, okay, and all the businesses, when he tears them down, when the dollar is not gonna be worth nothing, and nobody be able to buy anything because everything's destroyed. Too late then, no. They can't repent then. Too late. Okay, but he's gonna do that. And those of us trusting in him, he's going to protect us like he protected Israelites in Egypt. Remember what happened? After the third, there were 10 plagues in Egypt. After the third one, and the reason the Pharaoh for the first 3 didn't do anything is because his Egyptians could duplicate. So as long as they could turn water into blood, then the Pharaoh said, well, we can control it. See, that's man thinking he's God. We can control it. That's no problem. Forget it. We're not letting you go. But after the third one, the last 7, Moses came to him and said, I'm going to set the difference now between y'all and my people. I'm going to separate my people from these plagues. And you're going to see. And his magicians could not duplicate the plague. That's when he started saying, okay, I'm going to let y'all go. And then kept changing his mind, hardening his heart. Okay? Same thing. It's coming, man. It's getting real now. This is just what we're in right now is the dress rehearsal. Well, I told you that a year ago. Remember that? I said, listen, this is the dress rehearsal. This COVID is the dress rehearsal, man. It's the wake-up call. Wake up. And all peoples on the earth are getting a wake-up call. You know, in the islands, a lot of Puerto Ricans, my wife is Puerto Rican, she Boricua. A lot of the Puerto Ricans are acting like, oh, we white. You know, they're not here until that hurricane hit them and Trump throwing toilet paper at them. And then they realize, oh no, you different. That was their wake-up call. You know who just got the wake-up call? The Asians just got their wake-up call. They should have got it a while ago. They should have got it when Truman dropped them 2 bombs. But now they're catching it again. That the wake-up call. It's here. Okay? They're getting their wake-up call. Brethren, this is the dress rehearsal. The Most High is calling on all human beings to trust him. This ain't about a denomination, a church, or a religion. Trust him. There is a creator. He's above all things. His name is Yah. I don't care what language you're in. You can speak Japanese, Chinese, Mandarin. You can speak whatever dialect or whatever African or whatever African dialects you have. His name is Yah. He's above all. He's looking for y'all to trust him. You can't find him in the church, in a building. You're not gonna find him at the Vatican. You're not gonna find him at your temple, that your house that your pastor said the church building in front needs money, and y'all didn't send them $1 million or whatever to build the building and put the ATM machine in there for y'all to get ripped off. No, you're not gonna find him in there. He's not in the building. The building he's looking to inhabit is you and me. Our bodies are the building. We are the temple. And he's looking to inhabit it with his spirit and his word. It's very simple, man. It's very simple. And yet, powerful. Power. Okay? May the Most High bless you to overcome this test, this dress rehearsal, to trust him. Please read his word. Read it through for yourself. Read his word for yourself. Trust him. He's the only one you could trust. He sent a Hebrew Messiah that his own people put to death for us to learn to trust in his Father. Trust him. Learn about him. Learn about him in his word. Learn about him in prayer. Ask for him to give you his spirit to guide your steps, because it could save your life, man. Really can. And it will definitely change your life. And it won't cost you any money, but it'll cost you your whole soul and body. And it'll be worth it. May he bless you. May he bless you with peace and righteousness. May he bless you with truth and wisdom. May you be guided by him in a way that you end up with a palm branch in your hand on a sea of glass. Shalom.